If you're a water utility or a company in any other sector with water, wastewater or energy related issues and you're trying to move towards net zero carbon, then this might be a way to finance trials or support you to undertake trials of technologies that help you meet your net zero carbon goals. Untitled Utilities has launched the Trial Reservoir, which is our way of trying to accelerate the water and other industries' technology adoption to achieve net zero carbon. It addresses climate change, so we are open to any kind of technology as long as it does something to mitigate climate change. You can lower your greenhouse gas emissions, you can lower your energy demand, remove or lower your Scope 1, Scope 2 emissions. Any kind of technology will be eligible for the Trial Reservoir. The tech can be from anywhere in the world, and so can you. This is a multinational, completely international initiative. We also have a permanently open programme, so there's no deadline for application. Whenever you're ready to undertake a trial, as long as it mitigates climate change, then we're ready to hear from you. What's in it for you? Why would you take part? Well, there are a number of different reasons. Over on the left-hand side of the screen might be the biggest one. There is a marketing and brand awareness campaign which we undertake at the end of any successful trial in collaboration with you, the user, and with the technology company. You get to put your own message out there, so there's no way we will compromise any information that you don't want to share. You don't have to say anything you're not comfortable with. You have complete control over the message. We have our own 3 communications channels, and between them they reach about 2,000 industry professionals in 107 countries. There are also other additional opportunities that might come at a cost, but the 2,000 person channel, this is for free at the end of the trial. This will cement your position as some company or some individual who's making concrete steps towards your net zero carbon target. And if, for example, you have a regulator in your country which requires you to meet those targets, then this is really great evidence, and it gives you good add value as well, showing that you're striving towards those goals. You also get technical support. So the middle block, the purple-headed one in the centre, describes what we do. Untitled Utilities does as its routine core business consulting to validate, design and assess emerging technologies. So we organise collaborative and individual trials all the time. The Trial Reservoir, however, does not run on a commercial consulting basis. It is our gift to the sector. We put the money into the reservoir is a figurative pool of money, and we don't run this on a commercial basis. We work with you, the technology user, and with the technology developer, and will help you work up a set of success factors and KPIs, performance indicators for a trial, so we can ensure that any trial you undertake actually answers the questions that you need to ask in order to understand whether this is a technology you would or would not implement in your asset base. We support the trial throughout its duration, and we review the result at the end. We don't go through all the raw data again, but we will assess it and make sure the conclusions that the tech developer draws in their report to you are actually supported by evidence that they've generated throughout the trial. So this is an independent confirmation of whether or not the trial supports the vendor's claims. Lastly, on the right-hand side, negotiation support. So we can review the trial and purchase agreement, which is an agreement that you reach between yourself and the technology vendor. We don't sign it, but we can support you in negotiating your way towards it. We will make sure the success criteria are actually measurable and not up for debate at the end of the trial, and that they actually do give you the answers to the questions you need to ask. We'll administer any legal documentation revolving around the loan. You don't have to take any part of that in the event that we give a loan to your tech developer, and we'll also do the transfer of funds. And this is how it works. So we start with a solution being identified. This might be a technology that you already have in mind, or if you just have a problem that you want to solve that relates to your net zero carbon strategies, then get in touch with me. My contact details will be at the end of this presentation. We will engage with you and with the technology developer, and we'll issue them, not you, with an engagement letter saying how we will proceed with the trial. We'll support them in designing the trial to cater for your specific needs, not just a generic pilot plant. We'll provide them with a loan agreement if they're borrowing money from us, and they will undertake their trial and purchase agreement with you. Now, this can be any model that suits you. It doesn't have to be an outright purchase. It can be an offtake agreement for water. It can be a subscription service, it can be a lease. It doesn't really matter, whatever is appropriate to the technology, to the tech vendor, and to yourself as the tech user. We then potentially provide the funds, so this might be a direct investment in the form of loan funding from the reservoir itself. We might introduce the tech vendor to a sponsor, which enables them to leverage greater investment than I can provide them from somewhere else, or we might undertake crowdsourcing on their behalf. Wherever the money comes from, the trial then goes into progress, and we'll be with you every step of the way to make sure that they do undertake the trial as planned, and they report and deliver as per the agreed milestones. At the end of the trial, there will be a decision that you take on whether or not the trial met your needs, and this again is something we will help you with. If the trial was not successful despite everyone's best interests, then there is no commitment to the end user. You just walk away. We don't make you try to deploy technology that doesn't do what you need it to do. If, however, it is successful, then the technology comes off probation and you deploy it. Revenue flows to the technology vendor and they repay the loan, and we send it straight back out again to support the next trial. So what you sign is minimal. You will sign only one document, and that's your agreement with the technology vendor. There's no predefined template. It can be exactly what you need it to be, but we can give you examples if you need some inspiration. It has to include clear, objective, measurable criteria for the trial, obligations of what you'll do afterwards, so how you intend to deploy the technology, and a right for ISLE to publicise the results as long as they are positive with you, as I said, collaboratively, at conclusion of a successful trial. That is the only thing the technology user has to sign. And this is what you need to do. So you would identify a suitable trial site in your own asset base. You agree the success criteria, again, something that we will support you with. And you agree the consequences. So if you test something for 12 months and it works, then perhaps you leave a test unit on a site, or you undertake to subscribe. If it's software, you take a 12-month subscription and then you would review again. Whatever it is that works for you is what you sign up for. You then accommodate the trial in accordance with best practice, and we have a set process that we can adapt on a trial-by-trial basis, but we can make sure the tech developer runs a robust, scientifically sound trial. And that is our job, so these are our responsibilities. The technology vendor also has responsibilities, and we will make sure they uphold their end of the agreement with you. A few last thoughts that don't really fit anywhere else. If you want to run comparative trials, so you have 2 or 3 technologies on a site in parallel to see which one works best for you, we can do that within the bounds of the Trial Reservoir. It's really important that you secure internal engagement early with procurement, but not only with procurement. It's quite difficult sometimes, and apparently small matters like the brand of a fuse board can turn into big issues when you're trying to undertake a trial with equipment that you plan to deploy permanently at the end of it. So you need to keep these kinds of things in mind. There is no additional procurement administrative burden that's required by coming into the Trial Reservoir, but it also doesn't get you off the hook. So you have to go through your normal procurement processes or comply with any regulations that you normally need to comply with. That's a bit of a quick run through. My contact details are right here, and this deck of slides is available from anybody in the ISLE Trial Reservoir team. So reach out to us or look at the website, which is www.trialreservoir.com, and use the contact us form if you want to reach out any other way. Can't wait to hear from you. Thanks.